You are listening to the Secret Teachings post radio show. Our show tonight on Friday was 5 hours long. We did a 30-minute kind of after show. And as soon as the show ended, I found a number of things that I did not get to mention on the main show. I had time to dig through some updates and some recent stories. I'll try to keep this relatively short, under a half hour. But did you know that the Wall Street Journal reported today that the whole act of diplomacy, the whole act of don't bomb Iran, we want peace, and Israel saying, well, we're just going to do it anyway, and we don't care what you say, and Trump got bamboozled, but then he's actually saying that it's on and you should have taken the deal, but nothing changed between yesterday and today except Israel attacked. Okay, well, check this out. I have to show you this on video, and I have to, for the life of me, add this to the stream, and that is what is coming up on your screen right now. The Wall Street Journal reported today, or yesterday, depending on when you're listening. In a twist, U.S. diplomacy served as cover for Israeli surprise attack. U.S. diplomacy served as cover for Israeli surprise attack. Talks seen as a way to keep the peace gave Israel the opportunity to land heavy military blows. U.S. negotiations with Iran aimed at curbing Tehran's nuclear program were widely seen as an important way to preserve regional peace. They ended up being the perfect cover for a surprise Israeli attack. So there you have it. Not only did Donald Trump, the savior and the Lord of the master of the universe, lie to you and deceive you, he lied to and deceived the Iranians, and he ensured that not a single country anywhere in the world ever will trust the United States again. And I would say that the worst part of this, if there is a worst part, is that this doesn't just paint people like Trump bad, or people like, hit people in his administration bad, or even Netanyahu and the Israelis. This paints me as an American in a really bad way. It paints you as an American in a really bad way. You can't trust Americans. Even when they want peace, they bring you to war. Israel has infected the United States with a poison. It is a poison that they've injected topically and under the skin. And that poison has internally and externally destroyed the fabric of our society. It's destroyed the faith and the trust we have in our institutions. It has destroyed any kind of competency in government, and it has destroyed the image and the perception of what the United States is or was or is supposed to be. There might not be a lot of that trust left, but these motherfuckers didn't just paint the United States leadership as effectively treasonous, traitorous trash that like to use peace as a means to wage war, which is really wicked and evil. But they've painted the entirety of the American public in the same way. Israel is not just an enemy of the American Republic. Israel is an enemy of humanity. And everything these people have done and continue to do is the total opposite of what we should be doing as Americans. We should be staying out of it, but it's the total opposite of what we should be engaged in. Everything that they say that they're doing and the reasons that they're doing it, it's the opposite. They say they're doing this to save democracy. What a joke. We got to bring democracy to Iraq and Afghanistan, right? They say they're doing this to save the United States, to save Western civilization. All they've done is open up an apocalyptic can of proverbial worms, which is what the leadership of that country is. In fact, they're less than worms. Worms serve a purpose. These people don't serve a purpose. They are demons. I mean that literally. They are demonic spirits or entities or forces or energies, whatever term you want to apply. Everything they accuse you and everybody else of doing and what they take credit for, it's all the opposite. They call Iran a genocidal, homicidal, nuclear superpower that wants to wipe out Israel, when really it's the opposite way around. I'm sure the Iranians probably do want to do those things, but Israel is the aggressor. Israel is the one that has nuclear weapons. And anytime you ask these people, hey, why do you get nuclear weapons and others don't get nuclear weapons? Then they tell you something like, well, because of the Holocaust. That's right. The Holocaust. Remember this on 60 Minutes? I don't know the age of this particular video, but listen to this. An Israeli politician answering the question, why should the world tolerate you having nuclear weapons and not Iran? Why does Israel get to have them, but not Iran? And this, it's not even a good excuse or a good argument. This is what Israel has to say about that.
Why should the world tolerate you having nuclear weapons and not, say, Iran?
First, again, we never admitted to have such weapons, but the very comparison is, I must say, it's very insulting, and I tell you why. We suffered one Holocaust. We listened to our neighbors.
Is it because of the Holocaust that you should be allowed to have nuclear weapons?
You know what? This interview was finished now. Your attitude is so hostile, and your questions are so arrogant. I don't want to speak.
Is it the case?
So that's what they do. That's what Israel's always done. Do you have nuclear weapons? Well, we've never said that we have them. Well, we know that you have them. You've got dozens, maybe hundreds of them. And why do you get to have them and Iran doesn't? And why do you get to say, I don't want there to be inspections, but Iran opens their doors to inspections? Oh, the Holocaust. The Holocaust is what we get to have. We get to have the weapons. We don't want there to be another Holocaust. Does anybody actually believe that? Or you understand and you see what this guy did when he answered that question or pretended to answer the question? They start off with the Holocaust. Well, he starts off by saying, you listen to it again, we never admitted to having them. But the Holocaust. And if you don't believe that, you don't buy that, then interview over. Okay, that's somebody, and that's the pretty much the official policy of Israel for all time ever. That's how they operate. We never even said we had nuclear weapons. What are you talking about? We never had nuclear weapons. And if people say, well, I guess maybe you didn't admit that, question answered. But if you go further and you say, well, no. You have nuclear weapons. We know that you have nuclear. Well, the Holocaust, the Jews and the ovens and they kind of look up, like a kid that kind of fake cries, and they kind of look at you like, are you buying this? Are you buying this? Are you buying? And if you buy it, I didn't mean to offend you. I understand that a grandparent that you had took a shower back in the 40s or the 30s. I understand. I'm so sorry I asked you if you had nuclear weapons. You should be ashamed of yourself, Goyam. Do not ask us questions we do not want to answer. This interview is over. Which is the third thing, that if you push the envelope, then the interview is over. Netanyahu has done this. That's how they operate. They are the things that they accuse everybody else of. Bottom line. Doesn't mean to love Iran, doesn't mean to love Russia. Just they are the epitome of saying the opposite of what is reality. Which is why, as I played at the beginning of the initial 5-hour broadcast tonight, that Mossad clip also on 60 Minutes, actually, where they were talking about how they are the directors and the writers and they run a global production company. It's all a big show. I'll play that for you again. Here, I'll play it back to back. I'll play this and I'll play the Israeli politician. Here we go.
We create a pretend world. We are a global production company. We write the screenplay. We're the directors, we're the producers, we're the main actors. The world is our stage.
This is Mossad's old office. Its motto from Proverbs 24:6 says in so many words, wage war through deception and trickery.
Wage war through deception and trickery. What could better describe the headline that you're seeing, and I read you from the Wall Street Journal? What could better describe wage war through deception than, quote, in a twist, U.S. diplomacy served as cover for Israeli surprise attack? they used Trump's, quote, peace talks that he was fully aware were not peace talks to prepare for an attack on Iran. And I sat here on my show and I said, Trump's a traitor. It's a scam. It's fake. There's no true breakup between the US and Israel and Netanyahu and Trump. And I was told I'm an anti-American. I was told that I'm an anti-Semite. I was told that I don't know what I'm talking about. I was told to go back to high school and all kinds of other things. And it turns out I knew that, not because I'm smart, but because it was that fucking obvious. And now here's the Wall Street Journal reporting it. And not only are they reporting this, and not only did Israel do this in the sickest, most deceptive way possible, these people now have not just, I said earlier, destroyed relations, any kind of potential relations with Iran and Russia. They have destroyed potential relations that the U.S. could have with any country, peace or otherwise. Even countries that are allies with the United States can sit there and look at this and be like, in the most potentially dangerous worst case scenario, we're talking about what, quote, nuclear third world war. That's what everybody says. I don't buy it, but that's what the narrative is. And when you're playing around with billions of lives and you're playing around with Iran is not a little tiny dot on a map. Okay. It's like what, 3 or 4 times the size of Iraq, and it has the full backing of Iran. It has the full backing of China and a number of other countries. And you're going to play with people's lives. Donald Trump and J.D. Vance should be impeached immediately. There should be an emergency session of Congress, and the members of Congress, I understand this won't happen because they work for the same masters, but there should be an emergency meeting of Congress, and both the conservatives and Democrats and the House and the Senate should vote right now to impeach that traitorous, homicidal, genocidal, crazy, blood-sucking vampire puppet J.D. Vance, and then all that and a lot more for Donald Trump, and get them out of office now, along with every other one of those Israeli Zionist Jewish plants that run our government. But that won't happen because virtually every member of Congress is also owned by the same foreign interests. Our country is occupied and it is run by Zionists and Jews. It is a fact, and there is nothing that could be more evident of that than this Wall Street Journal story. They have sabotaged not only any kind of potential peace with Iran or Russia, they have sabotaged any kind of potential peace that the U.S. might now or in the future have. If you did trust the U.S. before, you certainly don't trust the United States now. And you've once again made American citizens the bad guys, and you've made American citizens look like even bigger, dumb, fat fucks than we already are. Thanks, Israel. I really appreciate it. It affects all of us. Now Americans, on top of being dumb and fat and slow and sloppy, now we're all perpetual liars too. And who do you think this is going to affect in the long run? Generations of people, especially depending on how long this conflict goes, generations of people that are going to learn the U.S. is working on the peace deal in country X. You can't trust the Americans. They're the ones that worked on a peace deal while they simultaneously prepared rockets and drones to kill civilians in Tehran. You can't trust the Americans. I don't think there's many countries that did trust us to begin with, but if there was any scrap and anything left of the Republic and any kind of respect left for America outside of baseball and outside of some hot dogs and pop culture, it's all gone now. And Israel pissed on it, and Israel torched it, and Israel shredded it. And then our savior of the universe, Trump, brags about it. Brags about it on Truth Social. I thought this was just an opinion piece when I read this on Yahoo. Trump knew of Israel's planned attack on Iran all along. Then I go to the Wall Street Journal, and in a twist, it's a twist, like it's a Shyamalan movie. In a twist, U.S. diplomacy served as cover for Israeli surprise attack. I see dead people, a whole bunch of them, and they're Jewish and they're Muslim and they're Christian and they're atheist and they're brown and they're white and they're Arab and they're Semites and they're all kinds of other things. By the way, Iran was contacted by Russia report. I don't know if you heard this. I just saw this. Apparently, Russia contacted Iran, or, well, let me go back to the beginning. So we know that Netanyahu is such a lying piece of subhuman garbage that Netanyahu's jet went to Greece, and reportedly he's hiding out in Greece as Tel Aviv gets bombed into what might be oblivion, depending on how many more missiles they launch, how many more drone strikes, because I thought it was one or two, or maybe a couple hundred. The Iron Dome failed, and Tel Aviv is getting pounded. And I'm not celebrating that. For what that does to the Israeli image, like, in a sense, it knocks them down a peg, but it really doesn't. It actually gives them more fuel, because now we're under attack. It's a Holocaust. They killed 6 million Jews with one rocket attack. We have to defend ourselves. America, you must go on defensive and offensive, or you support Holocaust. Fuck your Holocaust. They have made up so much history. They have, not that the Holocaust didn't happen. There's a bunch of Holocausts that happened. They did it here in Tokyo. They did it in Hiroshima. They did it in Nagasaki. They did it in Dresden. They did it in Berlin. And they did it to a whole bunch of other people in Europe, including Jews. The Soviets did it. The Chinese did it. There's a Holocaust happening all throughout the 20th century. There's one happening right now in Gaza. That's fire, mass death by fire. That's what happened in Tehran last night. Tehran was a Holocaust. What's happening in Tel Aviv right now is a Holocaust, if we're going to define the words correctly. Not only is Netanyahu such a coward that reportedly he has fled to Greece on his jet, he's probably in Greece on a vacation while Tel Aviv gets fucking leveled, which I pray genuinely that doesn't happen, because let's just stop it. Let's just take our losses and stop it. But reportedly, Israel is such a disgusting, deceptive, we waged war through deception, just such an absolute demonic entity, and so slimy. Like every superhero or supervillain movie, or like superhero movie with supervillains, every supervillain, or we watch The Hobbit. What's that city at the base of the mountain where Smaug comes and is it Smaug the dragon comes and lights the whole place on fire? That Weasley guy that was like the assistant of the king, who was undermining the king's authority, and anybody who had power, even after the king died, he just kind of, he manipulated people. That is what these people are. They are slimy. They got yellow teeth and scraggly hair, and they basically look like a version of Gollum. And these people in Israel, not only did Netanyahu reportedly flee, but reportedly the Israelis contacted the Russians and told the Russians, please have the Iranians call off the attacks. They're bombing Jews in Tel Aviv. And Putin reportedly hung up the goddamn phone. Not literally, but they did contact Russia reportedly and said, tell the Iranians to back off. And Russia said, suck it. I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing because it's ironic. These people are cowards. Cowards. You know, in Batman, where the Joker starts a fight and then he gets other people to do the fighting for him, and he's such a he's really smart, but he's really scrawny and can't really do that, at least in the Nolan movies. He can't really fight that well. So he'll pick up some of his own guys and throw them into the fight because he can't really fight. That's what Israel is. Netanyahu flees to Greece, and I'm guessing while he's on the plane, he calls up Putin and says, call off the missiles. They're attacking Tel Aviv. And Russia hangs up the phone. And now it's Russia's fault. Now, it's Russia's fault for Israel bombing Iran. And it's also America's fault because America was just supposed to sit back and watch. And now, we have to do something. They're attacking Americans in Tel Aviv. We have to, and now it's not just defense, it's also offense. We need to also attack them on top of that. It's the same story over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. I mean, this should be the headline. Seriously, this headline might end up being the headline of, at minimum, the decade. This is the headline of the decade right here. You heard it on the Secret Teachings. I haven't heard anybody else talk about this. The Wall Street Journal reported, in a twist, U.S. diplomacy served as a cover for Israeli surprise attack. They knew, Trump knew, he should be impeached along with that vampire child, J.D. Vance. The entire Trump administration works for Israel, clearly. They don't care about Americans, and they don't care about America, quote, first. They are traitors, and they are treasonous on a level that even makes the Biden administration, with their auto pin and their literal Politburo, look like amateurs. And people just, Trump really trolled those Iranians. he trolled them. Do you understand that you are messing with the potential, in the worst case scenario, how it's, I don't believe it, but in the worst case scenario, how it's painted, you are messing with global thermonuclear war. What in God's name is wrong with you? It's not funny. It's not a joke. These people are laughing like the Joker. You have nothing to threaten me with, nothing you can do with all your strength, as you just beat them. Fucking eat it, MAGA. You did this. You voted for this. You have nothing to threaten me with. Nothing that you can do with all your power and strength. Trump is the savior. They're insane. All of them are insane. All of them. It needs to be said. And you think I'm joking? Listen to this. I saw David Icke post this on X. You got to listen to this. There's a whole bunch of them. This is the one that I saw. There's a whole bunch of these Christians that are singing songs about it. They're actually happy about it. Listen to this. David Icke posted this a little bit ago, just an hour ago, right basically at the end of the show. David Icke posted this. This is a pastor, Shane Vaughn. He's a MAGA guy. He is singing about what happened. Singing.
What wonderful days these days are before the coming of the Lord. What wonderful days these days are before the coming of the Lord. What wonderful days these days are before the coming of the Lord. Oh, the glory, before the coming of the Lord. Hallelujah.
Fuck you, Shane Vaughn, and the whole MAGA movement. You people are worse than the Democrats. Did you hear that? You didn't tune out, did you? Did you hear a pastor singing a song about World War III? They are insane. Insane. All of them. David Icke, say what you want about him. We've had him on the show 4 or 5 times, I think. David Icke's probably one of the sanest people in the world right now, because this man has been saying this shit since before I was born, I think. And yes, in the chat here, I see, that was absolutely atrocious, wasn't it, Brandon? Yeah, in the chat, we got the chat going again. I didn't think anybody would tune in for this. Patriot Girl says you're a savage. No, Israel's savage, but I get it. I appreciate it. Thank you. Space Pop says the same thing. Thank you. I just had to fill you in on the this new hit single by this pastor. That's a great song. It's going to go alongside of Bomb Iran, Bomb Iran. I mean, you got to be real sick to talk about stuff like this and sing songs about it. I mean, people sing songs when they're happy, maybe when they get married, when they're having a good day. They sing songs in the shower. I mean, how many people, sing songs about nuclear war? How many people sing songs about genocide? I mean, I don't think that any genocidal regime in history did stuff like this. I don't even think Mao was singing that we had to kill 65 million Chinese. I don't think anybody sings songs about this stuff except Christians. I mean, my God. My God. And that's not even the worst part. I scrolled through X for about 5 minutes and I came across a whole bunch more of these schmooly videos. If you didn't see this one earlier, I frankly thought it was edited. And I mean, if maybe it is edited. I went to his page and I found that this is the video from his page. Listen to what this man says. This is all the proof that you need.
The United States must get involved in this fight in order to protect the United States. God bless America. God bless the United States of Israel. God bless every innocent person.
The United States of Israel, our country, is run by demons like that. That right there is the face of your occupiers. That's the bottom line. And that is what I've been trying to tell people for years. And for months, I've been telling people, once you find out that that's who occupies the country, you're going to have to take a break and recognize that that doesn't mean that all Jews are responsible. And we don't want Jews to be hurt any more than we want Christians or Muslims to be hurt. That we should have peace and you have a right to practice your religion. But these people are not religious. These people are wicked, psychotic demons that are like generals gathered in their masses at black masses like witches, and they are using very dark black magic, occultic, probably rabbinical Jewish magical practices to bring this stuff about. They are psychotic. He said it out loud. It's the United States of Israel, just like Pete Hegseth. They occupy and run our government, period. Now that they've attacked Iran, they're even more emboldened because now, just like the Joker, they've grabbed one of their goons and they've thrown, that's the U.S., their goon at Iran. And it would be nice if Iran recognized that and didn't attack U.S. installations. And hey, maybe, frankly, for all we know, the attacks might never have happened. Israel could be launching attacks on themselves and bombing their own cities and telling us Iran's doing it. And Iran is just, everybody in Iran woke up this morning and had a great day. I'm not saying I believe that. That's nonsense. But I'm saying that, frankly, as far as we know, based on what the Mossad says, that could be the case. That could be the case because of how much these people lie. There is nothing more wicked and deceptive than using peace talks to wage war. That is all the Mossad do. That's who these people are. In fact, that's all these people are. They are psychotic.
Says in so many words, wage war through deception and trickery. Its motto from Proverbs 24:6.
That's the Mossad.
This is Mossad's old office. Its motto from Proverbs 24:6 says in so many words, wage war through deception and trickery.
And what are you going to do? What is Thomas Massie and Rand Paul going to vote to impeach Trump? The whole Congress is infiltrated, paid off, blackmailed, etc. Almost all the judges in the courts are blackmailed, bought off, paid off, bribed, compromised, and so on. What I told people on Thursday, and I said, listen, I'm a guy who I wrote an American history book, and I love America, but I'm ashamed of America. And as an American, not only is it shameful, it makes me feel like my entire life was a lie. And it's not because of America, it's because of Israel. That's what the problem is. And going all the way back to 1290 in England, when this has been recognized before, from 1290 in England to the 70s, 80s in Russia, to Germany in the 30s. You deal with the problem one of two ways. You expel those people, or you let them destroy your country. And the United States apparently has chosen to let them destroy the country and feed off of the corpse. These cannibal, vampire, murdering, homicidal, psychopathic, ethnic cleansing, genocidal, Colin DePlancy rabbinical demons. They run our country. There's no more of this, stop saying stuff about Jews. No, you know what? I think you're an anti-Gentile. Those terms don't work anymore. Your sympathy card, I'm revoking it. Your sympathy card is expired. The Holocaust doesn't give you rights to murder and kill and drive countries to war with each other for your own selfish means, which also includes killing your own people. If anything, the U.S. has a responsibility to intervene to stop Israel from doing this stuff to their own people and condemn Netanyahu for the cowardly, fleeing traitor that he is if he fled to Greece. And then just let the U.S. do it. And then kind of slowly back into the bush like Simpson, just slowly back away, slowly back away. All right, U.S., go ahead, you do it now. That's your job. Fuck you. No effing way. At least that's how I feel, but I'm an American, and Americans don't matter. Israelis matter. Jews matter. That's all that's ever mattered. And until Americans are willing to say that out loud, nothing's going to change. In fact, it's only going to get worse. And that's why I said on Thursday, this weekend, this is the end of America. The final death blow, the final nail in the coffin. It's over. There's nothing left. The United States of America is gone. It's not a country. There's no constitution. There's no republic. There's no government. We are occupied and dominated by a small foreign country that is a master of manipulation and trickery. They are black magicians. They are wicked rabbinic. You know, the rabbis in the old world had to be masters of black magic, and they had to be masters of the blood sacrifice. All the Jewish holidays, they had blood sacrifices. They had to kill the animal or kill the human. This is well documented throughout history. Our country's controlled by these people. That's why everything's so wicked and evil and demonic all the time. It's the Democrats and the libtards. No, it's the state of Israel. That's the problem. 79% of American Jews vote for the Democrats. But we have to stop ourselves short of condemning an entire group of people because Jews are not responsible for this. And that's where I break with virtually every other person that might sound like me, because it's not Jews. It's horrible people. It's people that are possessed by ideologies and spirits and other kinds of things. Jews are part of it. They have a mafia. They are masters of deception. They are basically like demons themselves. But not all Jews are like that. And we cannot condemn all Jews in the same way that other people have historically. We have to be able to be objective about these things. Otherwise, we are no better than the people that are screaming to nuke Tehran or nuke Tel Aviv. It's crazy. It's psychotic. It has to stop. It has to end. Or there won't be anything left of civilization at all. There is nothing that should, this headline from the Wall Street Journal, this should be, this is the headline of the century. This is it. That's it. And I got a little chip on my shoulder because, frankly, I'm tired. I was tired of losing subscriptions and losing listeners and losing income, busting my ass to tell you something. And yet, what I told you was true, and it was denied by so many people in the MAGA movement. And here it is. And again, I'm a nobody. Okay, I'm a nobody. But if I could figure this out beforehand, you know that others probably could figure it out. In fact, that makes me then question, did the Iranians know that? Did the Iranians allow them to attack? See, then we start getting into a real interesting scenario. That means it's maybe Iran's fault as much as it is Israel's fault. If I can figure it out, you're telling me the Iranians can't figure it out? The Russians can't figure it out? They probably knew Israel was going to attack and probably let it happen. Do we know for sure they actually killed those military officials? What do they show us? A hole in a building? We got them, and they show you some CG picture. Well, Iranian state media said this. Is that really even Iranian state media? I can't even trust the news outlet down the street that I could walk to. How the hell am I supposed to trust Iranian state media? I mean, Jesus Christ. Local school boards lie to people to the point where you don't know what's up and what's down. I can't trust the local NBC affiliate or the Fox News affiliate. I'm supposed to trust Iranian media, or what? I'm supposed to trust what my local media tells me about a foreign media company and what they reported. When we know, as I showed you 6 hours ago, CNN changes their own headlines on the story to make it look like Israel's the victim. So I don't know what to believe. They might not have killed any of these Iranian officials, and it might just all be a ruse. And Iran might have let them attack just like Israel let Hamas attack. Do you ever think that that's a possibility? Because if I can figure it out, look at where I am. I'm in like a 2-bedroom apartment in a city outside Tokyo with my wife. It's a nice apartment, but it's a small little apartment. Okay, I don't really have anything to my name except this computer, this microphone, this board, and a whole bunch of books. That's it. And this Noren tapestry behind me. That's it. I don't really own anything. I'm not a millionaire. I'm not even like a thousandaire. I barely have enough money to pay my bills, and yet I can figure this out. You're telling me Israeli intelligence couldn't figure out October 7th. You're telling me that Iranian intelligence, Russian intelligence, Chinese intelligence, nobody knew this was going to happen. And Trump made a big deal about how he's all for peace and he's breaking with Israel. It was all part of a clever ruse to deceive the Iranians. Maybe they were deceived. But I just feel that there's something even more off here than what I said on the majority of tonight's broadcast. I don't know what it is, but there's something under the surface. And a matter of fact, I told my friend Jack before I left the United States, I said, there is something really bad going to happen. My friend Jack said, I truly believe that if there's a God in heaven, I think he drove you to Japan and he drove you to find your wife and he drove you to leave the country to protect you because something really bad is going to happen in the United States. And here we are. We both had that feeling. Here we are. Doesn't make me a special person, but I feel bad. I genuinely hope that everybody everywhere in the world is safe. We shouldn't bomb Tel Aviv. We shouldn't bomb Tehran. And hopefully nothing happens this weekend across the United States. Thinking practically is the solution. I don't think there's going to be nuclear war, folks. But you still should be prepared in terms of rioting and whatnot with food and water. And I don't sell that. You should be prepared with that. Flashlights, batteries, things. Don't panic, but just you should have those things. That's it. You know, the worst case scenario really is like there's a riot and you can't get, to the store or something. You still live in the first world. See, that's the beauty of living in the United States as Americans, where the mass majority of people are listening. That's the beauty of it. Because in America, for the most part, you don't really have to worry about missiles raining down on your city. That's why it's always easy to sit back and be like, yeah, they bombed Iran. Oh, that's cool. You can fucking kill all of them. I don't care about them. They bombed Iraq too. I don't care. Afghanistan, Syria, Libya. Those are just brown people. I don't care. Those are just Muslims. Who cares? Those are Arabs. I don't care about Arabs. Let me know when they kill some white Christians. Then I'll wake up. I'm gonna take a nap. That's how Americans feel. It doesn't affect you. That's the bottom line. You can sit there and watch Armageddon on your computer, and the chances of it actually coming to America are really slim. And just like in the past, when it does come to America, it's usually the United States government or Israel, in the case of 9/11, that orchestrates it and documents it. So you shouldn't be afraid, and you should be prepared. I mean, in the worst case scenario that they paint, if there was a nuclear war, I wouldn't prepare for it because there's no way to prepare for it. There's no way to survive it. But that's part of the making sure that you're afraid and terrified and scared and don't know what to do and are cowering in the closet in the corner and looking to people like Alex Jones and Charlie Kirk and others for truth. For what's the real truth? You think people that lie to you professionally are going to give you the truth? People that are compromised are going to give you the truth? People that are still promoting, like Stu Peters, having a round of applause for bombing Tel Aviv. I mean, granted, I have a certain sense of like, yeah, fuck them. But those are people living there because they're not they are attacking military targets there in Tel Aviv, which, by the way, they build some of those military targets under apartment buildings like they accuse Hamas of. It's the opposite. Everything they do is the opposite. So they hit a military target. Oh my God, they bombed an apartment building. But either way, those buildings are still being bombed. Now, if you're in Tel Aviv, one of the richest countries in the world, you knew this was happening, you're kind of stupid for not evacuating because you know what's going to happen. And they gave them ample time with sirens and alerts on their phones. Get to shelter, get to safety because the rockets are going to come down. So like half of you thinks, oh, it's great. But then half of me is like, no, it's not great. Those are human beings. And not only human beings, they're just people like you and I. not just vague humans. They're just you and me. And they have to suffer the consequences of what their government did. Just like we have to suffer the consequences of what our government does, or rather what another government, what their government does. They have to suffer the consequences of their government. We have to suffer the consequences of their government too. So I don't know if there's anything else I can add, but I think that there were a few things on X I had posted that I tried to save for this update. Oh yeah, there actually was one other thing. This is a great one that's going around. Look at this. This is one of my favorites. This is going to lighten the mood, and that'll pretty much be the show for today. This individual, I don't know who this is. They're a big name journalist, Solomon Ahmad. I'm guessing he's real. Everything seems fake. But he posted this: breaking, Iran targeted infrastructure and buildings in Tel Aviv used by Israel to store F-35 jets and submarines. This is actually funny because if you watch the video, and I'm going to play it for you. Watch the video. All right, there's some F-35s. They're showing a building and then the orange jets inside the building to show you that there's an object there. All right. This is serious, by the way. 3.2 million views. All right. What else we got? They got fighter jets. All right. What else is in here? A lot of fighter jets. There's got to be other stuff in here, though. What else? All right, we're going to go down to the bottom of the building. Some more fighter jets. Wait for it. It's coming. That's right. Here we go. Still showing you the building with more fighter jets. There's F-35s. Or I don't know. Those don't even look like F-35s to me. Oh, there's a rocket or a missile in the building. And the best part, oh, look, they have apparently an aircraft carrier under the building. Maybe that connects to the ocean. I had no idea Israel had this level of technology, because to me, that there looks like a ship from Star Wars, doesn't it? Doesn't that look like a ship? Isn't that like a Star Destroyer or something? And this is like a serious quote unquote journalist. Isn't that a Star Destroyer? And this is what they posted on social media. Look at that. The Israelis have a Star Destroyer under the city. Look at that. Are you kidding me? It's not a joke. There's 3.2 million people that followed that and watched that. And this person has a bigger audience than I do. Like millions of people. Look at that. They said there's a Star Destroyer. What is this, David Wilcox channel? There's a Star Destroyer under apartment buildings in Israel. That's got to be a joke, Ryan. You would think it is, but it's not. Yeah, actually, there's a bunch of people that posted that below. Might want to check your sources. That's Imperial Destroyer from Star Wars. So if you thought it couldn't get dumber, well, just hold on to your hats, because they find a way to amplify the insanity moment by moment by moment. And here is Fox News with the cherry.
Israel previously wiped 2 nuclear weapons programs off the map in the Middle East, in Iraq in 1981 and in Syria in 2007, both timed by destroying single nuclear reactors. Iran's system is much more diffuse, a lot of more facilities. That's why the United States may have to get involved. We are essentially at war with Iran already. They killed a bunch of Americans. Their proxies did in Israel. We're shooting down their missiles right now.
Oh, they killed a bunch of proxies. Their proxies killed a bunch of Americans in Tel Aviv. It's convenient that, that the American government told people to evacuate from the Middle East who were non-essential workers at embassies, but they didn't tell American citizens to evacuate Tel Aviv. Wow. I mean, seriously, folks, Trump and J.D. Vance are worse than the Democrats. These motherfuckers let American citizens be killed for the war of the people that control them. That is next level evil. And here's Fox News saying we're basically at war with Iran already. I don't know what else to tell you, except that right there is the headline of the century, probably at the very least. That's the headline of the was definitely of the day, the week, the month, and probably the year, maybe the decade. No one's ever going to trust the United States again. The country has been thoroughly undermined, and that's the end of the U.S. Republic. It is gone. It's gone. I don't say that happily. I'm an American. Love American history. But there's no more United States. It's gone. It's the United States of Israel. It's over, folks. It's over. There's no trolling here. There's no, oh, he's gonna come out at the last minute and stop it. He's behind it. He worked with them to deceive the Iranians. The Iranians deceive people. No, you deceive people. The Iranians want to kill people. No, you killed people. Doesn't mean that they're innocent, but we don't want war with Iran. And yet that's what we're going to get because of people like this, bloodthirsty, well, criminals. And I think that's it. I think I've said all that I need to say. I genuinely hope everybody's safe, and I hope that you have a great weekend, and especially with the protests and the riots and the Jewish mafia. And I hope that there's no false flags. Usually when they tell you stuff that's going to happen, nothing happens. So I don't think anything's going to happen, frankly, but it doesn't need to happen now because we're worried about protests, and then we get Iran. That's how it works. I guess it's always misdirection. You know what it's like? It's like you ever watch like basketball, hockey, football? I think hockey's probably the most fun. But you ever watched a sport and your team's in a Super Bowl, NBA Finals, Stanley Cup Finals, and I've watched a lot of them. I used to watch the Lakers, and as a kid, but I was a hockey fan since I was like 15. So I'm all about hockey. And like the Stanley Cup Finals now that are going on, and it's just like I watched the Tampa Bay Lightning win back-to-back Stanley Cups, and then they went to win a third one in a row. They made it, and they lost. Who did they lose to? Colorado in 6 games, and it was heart-wrenching to watch. The Lightning lose in that game, and knowing that you're down a game, and you're down in the game, and there's 20 seconds left, and that's pretty much it. There's no way to come back. There's no way to win and that's just a sport. But that's the analogy that I have. That's the feeling I have about my country. Okay, the U.S. is down by more than a couple points. There's no way to come back. It's over. The clock is ticking down, and the opposition is dancing around and celebrating because they know they won. It's the only analogy that I have. Don't be afraid. Don't think that the whole world's going to fall apart in the ways that you imagine it. It'll fall apart in ways that you don't imagine. And I think that's pretty much it. Thank you all for tuning in to this additional update to the show. And if you're in the archive and the audio version of the show, thank you so much for continuing to listen. Although we've closed the show out once for the audio, once for the video, and now this will be a second time. This will be it. I didn't get to go to where I needed to go today, so I'm going to try to rest up and do that tomorrow. Hey, Ryder Lee is here. Howdy, Ryder. I don't think it's a free fall anymore, buddy. I think that's it. It's over. The death nail, the death blow, the last nail. It's in the coffin. It's over. Wish I could find that Ron Paul clip where he talked about that back in early 2000s. I think that's over. They lied. Trump lied. The entire administration lied. Israel lied. I don't think that there's any way else to cut it or slice it. No one's going to trust the United States ever again, and no one is ever going to trust an American ever again, nor is anybody. This is the best part. No one's ever going to trust patriots again. No one's ever going to trust people with American flags again. They have thoroughly undermined and corrupted the image of what it means to be a true American. This is masterful, masterful, masterful propaganda, masterful manipulation, deception. And that's what the Mossad does.
We create a pretend world. We are a global production company. We write the screenplay. We're the directors. We're the producers. We're the main actors. The world is our stage.
This is Mossad's old office. Its motto from Proverbs 24:6 words, wage war through deception and trickery.
That's what you see from the Wall Street Journal. Wage war through deception and trickery. All right. Well, with that, I say good night. Have a great night, and I will talk to you on Monday. Stay safe, stay informed, stay healthy. I'll see you then.